In this guide, we look at what are the advantages and disadvantages of a company voluntary arrangement. What is a CVA agreement? It's a business turnaround tool. This is due to it allowing the business to trade rather than a terminal insolvency procedure. The voluntary arrangement is an insolvency process that provides a contractual legally binding arrangement between your business and creditors. It offers to pay back what you can afford, based on your business cash flow. However, like all insolvency procedures, there are benefits and consequences. Our advantage and disadvantage guide will help you assess if a company voluntary arrangement is the right tools for you and your business. CVAs can be proposed by the directors of the company or the administrator if the company is already in administration. Directors will appoint advisors to assist with the construction of a CVA proposal, including detailed reviews of the company. A CVA takes some time to be launched because of the hefty review and drafting processes involved. Directors and advisors must ensure the proposal acts in the best interests of creditors. The CVA comes into force after 2 votes. First, once 75% of the creditors' support, by value, is gained by form of a vote on the proposal. A second vote, not including connected creditors, is taken, and provided that not more than 50% of unsecured creditors vote against the proposal, it is approved. The voting process takes around 2 to 3 weeks and can be done virtually or physically, if requested. As soon as it's been approved, all unsecured creditors are bound by the arrangement. The deal creates a moratorium around the company, stopping any creditors attacking the firm by legal action or demanding payment on the debts bound into the CVA. What are the advantages of a company voluntary arrangement? Director control. While liquidation and administration remove a company director's powers, you are still entitled to keep control of your company with the CVA procedure. Liquidators and administrators are assigned to recoup as much as possible for creditors, removing your position of power and selling company assets. Relief from creditor pressure and legal action. Creditor pressure is one of the most significant signs of financial difficulty, but entering a CVA protects your company from said creditor pressure. A licensed insolvency practitioner will assist your company with the CVA proposal, and once the CVA is approved, creditors bound by the proposal cannot take further legal action. For companies that have a viable chance for recovery, this could pose the most significant opportunity, as long as you comply with the CVA proposal. Your company cannot be wound up once the CVA is in place unless you incur further credit or fail to comply with the terms. Creditor and company benefit. It will often be the case that if your company enters liquidation, there will be insufficient assets to repay any monies to creditors. However, a CVA, when compared to liquidation, offers a better return to the creditors. While they still may not receive all monies owed, they can recover more than in winding up. It is in their best interests for your company to succeed, and the CVA process can even improve your business cash flow. Avoids liquidation. Speaking of liquidation, the consequences for your company are severe. A company voluntary arrangement allows your creditors to receive payment in installments and keeps you in control. Liquidation will almost certainly result in a full loss of control, as well as your company being completely closed down. HMRC tax and VAT debts included. As long as the initial proposal is reasonable, there is no reason why HMRC will not agree to a CVA. As such, any outstanding corporation tax, PAYE or VAT debts can be included. Legal protection from creditors. Once a CVA is in place, the creditors involved must stop all legal actions they are currently taking against the company and are no longer allowed to start new actions. Even a petition for the winding up of a company can be stopped by the implementation of a CVA. No investigation of directors' conduct. If a CVA is used, the company is not liquidated. As such, no liquidator is appointed and no investigation of the conduct of the directors is carried out. As long as the CVA is completed, there is therefore no risk of directors being accused of wrongful trading. Less damage to your reputation. The CVA procedure may result in difficulties for the company in obtaining credit, but it's far less damaging for your company reputation than liquidation. If your company were to enter administration, a notice will be placed in the Gazette alerting all interested parties to the insolvency. While the advantages of a company voluntary arrangement outweigh various other insolvency procedures, there are disadvantages to consider. What are the company voluntary arrangement disadvantages? The disadvantages include issues obtaining credit. Accessing credit from banks and suppliers will become extremely difficult to do, which may have an adverse effect on your ability to trade moving forward, with suppliers requiring payment on cash terms. However, this is the trade-off against not being able to trade at all in the instance of your company being wound up. Unfortunately, if some suppliers are included in the CVA, they may refuse to work with you moving forward and you will need to find an alternative. This can be a very difficult situation where specialized goods or services are provided. Company credit rating negatively affected. If a CVA is implemented, the company's credit rating will be negatively affected. This will make it harder for the company to get credit with suppliers and will make it very difficult to borrow extra funds while the CVA is in place. As such, suppliers will often have to be paid on a cash basis. Potential difficulties with starting new contracts. If a contract with a customer comes up for renewal or the company is bidding for new work, the potential client may wish to carry out a credit check against the business. The result of this will be poor and so may have a negative effect on the company being able to secure such new work depending on the client in question. All profits paid to creditors. Any profit that the company makes while in a CVA will normally have to be paid to its creditors. If the business improves and the company becomes more profitable, it is likely that the payments into the CVA will have to be increased. As such, while the CVA is in place, it is difficult for the company to invest in growth for the future. Cost burden. Signing up to a CVA is a serious financial commitment as they usually last for 5 years. Failure will often result in the supervisor of the CVA being forced to wind up the company either with your cooperation or through the courts by way of a winding up petition, putting you back to square one. For the CVA to be viable, there must be a material change in the trade of the business and you must be able to demonstrate it is the burden of historic debts holding it back, not that it is not currently turning a profit. If the latter is the case, it may be more prudent to consider creditors' voluntary liquidation. If you would like to know more about the pros and cons of a company voluntary arrangement for your business, make contact today with one of our insolvency practitioners today. One of our team would be happy to have a confidential free chat with you. To get started, simply complete an online inquiry.